Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're continuing our tournament tutorial series, and it's time to do a crystals tournament. So, to do some introduction, you can check the first episode in the series, which would be Marble Tournament, or check out the post on my website with the link in the description. So I'll be very brief here. So we are going to be doing 24 provinces up to 5-star stage, and in this video we are going to be doing just the 5-star stage. So as you can see, I have already done the first 4-star stages. And in terms of what we have as boosts, so yeah, remember that's a chapter 17, Elf City, and as far as damage boost, Ancient Wonders are concerned, we have from level 11 to level 16, so that's between 18 and 24% extra damage boost for all unit types. I also have Fire Phoenix level 10, level 10 is in evolution level 10, so which is fed, and that makes additional 50% damage boost for all unit types. There's also what else do I have there? Monastery, which is level 30 maxed out, so that's extra 30% health to all unit types. And for the temporary buildings that are out there, I do have Enhanced Light Range 1, which is extra 50% damage boost for light range units, as well as Magnificent Mage Multiplier, which is extra 50% damage boost for our mages, as well as 2 Unleashed unit upgrades, and that would be between 2 of them. That's another 50% health boost to all unit types. So quite a significant boost out there. But we're gonna use it. We're gonna need it. That's a relatively tough tournament without not that many boosts. So we'll see how it goes. So with that, let's jump right in, and let's start with province number 1. Remember, that's a 5-star stage already. So let's go. So what do we have here? Okay, again, not uncommon matchup. So in this tournament, in the crystal tournament, we will be seeing as our opponents a lot of the mages, as well as the heavy range units. So quite similar to what we can see around here. That means that we will commonly be using mage units on our side, in particular banshees, and I'll explain in a moment why, as well as light range units. And here and there, but very uncommonly, we'll use other unit types, but primarily light range and mages. So in this particular case, going light range is not amazing. As you can see, you only have 2 mage units that our rangers would do excellent against, but we also have heavy ranged unit, which is specializing against light range, and light melee unit, which also specializes against light range. And we have another ranged unit, which is heavy range, which is kind of here there. So for these lines matchups, I am going to be going mages, and in this particular case I will actually be going with the banshees, as I mentioned. Okay, the reason being is banshees are really good against heavy range, so take a look at that. So what we have there is 90%, almost double extra damage against heavy ranged, and 80% damage reduction from heavy range, so that means 5 times damage reduction from that. So that's really good. Unfortunately, it's not all heavy range. We also have 2 mage units, so it's mage versus mage. Benches are doing okay, not amazing. If not for the heavy range, I'd prefer Blossom Princesses for mage versus mage action. And one counter unit what we have here happens to be light melee, which is not bad, and on top of that it's actually not a mage unit specialist, quite the opposite. So for this lineup, Banshee would be a really good option. And I mean, of course, it's a good option in province number 1, but still, even then we did take a little bit of losses. Alright, let's keep on going. Okay, again, not amazing, not amazing. Heavy melee is an option. Let's see what else do we have. Okay, so again, that's one of the awkward matchups when, yeah, you don't want to go light range here, really, because again, we're facing a lot of specialists for country units. For mages, same thing, like there's nothing really good against, well, 4 mages on our side here. So going heavy melee is a possibility, but not really amazing, because yeah, there were 3 units that they would be good against. Then we have a mage, which actually happens to have specialized against heavy melee, and we have a Mistwalker, which is a ranged unit, even though not specialist against heavy melee. Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. So our options is a heavy range ourselves, which is actually not bad, certainly earlier on, because we only have another one heavy range. These 3 would be really good for us, but we have one mage, which heavy range is not great against, but it's only 1, and it's not a heavy range specialist. So heavy range is a pretty good option here, and maybe even favorite. Or again, especially earlier on, you can go melee, light melee, because the one unit we have here as a country unit is heavy range, but not melee specialist. But then we have 2 melee versus melee, and yeah, and it's a melee, so not amazing. So clear choice here would be go heavy range. And in this case, again, earlier on we can even go frogs, just for the extra, well, range. And as you can see, again, not surprisingly, did really well. Golems would do also well, because again, earlier on. Okay, so what else? Okay, that's an easy call here. We have 4 mages that rangers would do amazing against, and that's what we go with. There's one country unit who is actually a specialist against light range, but it's only 1, and it's a melee unit. So yeah, we should do quite alright there. Okay. Alright, not amazing lineup again for our primary damage dealers here. So yeah, here it all points towards the heavy melee. Heavy melee is really good against, well, there are actually a couple of options here. Heavy melee is 1, we have no country units here, which is really good. But we can also go the frogs, because frogs are doing amazing against light melee. Versus heavy range, they would do okay-ish. This one is technically a counter unit, but it's not heavy range specialist, and it's a heavy melee, so yeah, I'll probably just go frogs here, but either one would do alright here. Yeah, as you can see earlier on, doesn't matter. But in the later provinces, you may have some losses here. Okay. Okay, actually in this case I will go heavy melee here, because these are all units that heavy melee is good against, and well, Valorant Champion in particular, they are good against heavy range. And that's what we have here. And as you can see, it did really well. Be careful again with the melee matchups later on, even though they look good with the a lot more enemies in the subsequent provinces and the melee units on your side. Yeah, the losses might not be pretty. Okay, so here, yeah, that's more like our primary unit. Okay, we can go light range, and that's not bad. Yeah, this one is not a good counter unit. We can go mages, and this is also not an amazing counter. So yeah, we can go either one. Blossom Princess or Ranger. Actually, I'll probably go Rangers because there's only one light range unit here and 2 mages. Yeah, that was quite alright. Okay. So what do we have here? Okay, so again, there are several options here. We can go, technically speaking, we can go light melee. That would be alright. The only counter unit here, unfortunately, actually, is specializing against light melee, and it's a ranged unit. So no, we're not going light melee here. So we can certainly go rangers, who would do very well against mages. This counter unit is not specialist, quite the opposite against light range, so that's fine. And one of them we have a light range specialist, but it also happens to be a melee unit, so that's certainly a decent option. Or we can try to go some of the mages, but mages, we have 3 mage versus mage, not amazing, so we'll go rangers here. And that worked quite fine. Okay. Okay, again, yeah, these are not good options. So our primary, I think that's almost the same option as before. Is it? I think so. Yeah, so we have 2 mages, 1 heavy melee that the light range is really good against, 1 light range versus light range, and then we have 1 heavy range unit who is not light range specialist. So yeah, rangers it is again. Yeah, again, as you can see, losses kind of like cropping up even in the decent matchups here, but yeah, these are small ones. Okay, yeah, the same one. Well, this one is the easy one, so we have 2 mages, 2 heavy melees, both really weak against light range, and we have 1 counter unit in light melee who is not light range specialist. So again, we'll go with our Forest Wardens. And that worked pretty well. So 1/3, well, actually more than that. So province number 10. Okay, so again, we have 2 options here basically. We can go Valorian Champions here. And 4 units here that they would genuinely do well against, even though these are heavy ranged. Take a look against heavy range. They are 70% extra damage and again 5 times damage reduction, so that's pretty good. But still they're melee versus range, so there's that. And there's also unfortunately a mage unit that usually is a bad news for heavy units and heavy melee in particular. Again, it's only 1, so that would work, but the loss would probably be higher than I would like to. Alternatively, we can do, as you can see here, we can go Banshees again. And as I said, Banshees would do really well against heavy range. They would do quite alright against, well, mage versus mage. And then there's 1 counter unit who is not a mage specialist again. So yeah, let's go with Banshee. And we also have boost, the extra damage boost for mages, so there's that. And as you can see, that worked really well. Let's see. Okay, but again, now that's province 11. Now we're starting to face 3-star enemy units, which change things quite a bit. Okay, well, that's the easy matchup here. There's no brainer, really. Forest Wardens. No counter units, not even other light range, so all these units are really good for us. And even then, we still take some damage. Alright. Province number 12. Okay. Yeah, again, that's a common matchup. I mean, I think we've seen it earlier on. That's where I go Banshees. No counter units here for mages. 2 mage versus mage and 3 light range. sorry, light range, heavy range, which benches are really good against. So let's go benches. And you can see, yeah, even though that was a decent matchup for them, like, yeah, we still lost, well, about 20% of them, which is still pretty good result for, again, that stage. Okay, so we're halfway there. Let's see. Again, that's the easy call here. For mages, one technically counter unit, but that happens to be a non-light range specialist, heavy range. So yeah, that would be a forest warding. Again, no brainer here. Again, still 10% losses. I'd take that. All right. Okay, again, yeah, mages is not an amazing option here because 3 mages versus 3 mages. Light range is really good, and that's what we'll go with. Again, similar to the last time. You can go light melee as in Cerberus here, because they would do well against, well, they would do well against mages, they would do alright against light range. But then we have heavy range unit, which is ranged versus our melee, and on top of that, these are light melee specialists. So yeah, not a good option. So forest wardens it is, and that worked fine. Alright, so what do we have here? Yep, again the same kind of setup. I think we've seen exact same matchup. So 2 mages, 2 heavy range, and 1 counter unit who is light melee and is not mage specialist. So that's our Banshee matchup. Yep, still had some losses, but yeah, these are very acceptable at that stage. But remember, we also had quite a few boosts out. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, light range is an option. It's actually a pretty decent one. Unfortunately, we have 2 counter units here. One of them is okay, that's not a light range specialist, that's light melee. One of them, unfortunately, is ranged, heavy ranged, and it's a light range specialist, so there's that. Another option is to go with the mages, who would do really well against 2 heavies, but then there's 2 mages versus 2 mages, and we have a light melee who happens to be mage specialist as well. So yeah, that's not an amazing idea. In theory, you can go light melee here as in dogs, who will do well against mages, will do okay against other dogs. Would do fine against heavy range, because this heavy range is not light melee specialist. And we'll do kind of okay against heavy melee, but yeah, that's kind of, it doesn't feel like it's worth it. The losses would still be probably higher than if we go with light range units here. And again, that worked alright, actually slightly better than I anticipated. Alright, and we're already up to province number 17. Okay, and now we're getting into territory where it's kinda, yeah, not amazing matchups for any of them. So let's see what we can do here. Alright, so we have 2 units that we are good against if we are going light range, one that we are okay against, light range versus light range, and what do we have here? One is light melee that we will do alright, not light range specialist, and heavy range but not light range specialist. Okay, so light range is an option. We can go with the mages, which again will have 2 units that we'll do very well against. One is we're doing okay against. Light melee will do kinda okay-ish, and then there is a light range like favorite Mistwalker who is really good against mages and have initiative and range, so yeah, I'm tempted not to do that. Heavy melee, not a good option. Heavy range is kinda an option, but a bad one. We have heavy melee who are heavy range unit, heavy range specialists. And we also have a mage who also happened to be heavy range specialist. So yeah, no. Not doing heavy range here. Light melee is a possibility. Yeah, not specialists. But yeah, this heavy range is a specialist against light melee, not worth it. So, bottom line, not amazing, but we'll go with the forest warnings again. And that worked okay. That worked quite fine, actually. Okay, so again, light range is an option. Mages, no. No, 2 mages against, no, not going heavy range. Okay. Here, light melee is actually much more appealing proposition than in the previous cases. So, if we're going Cerberus, so 2 mages, that would be a really good matchup for them. Light melee is fine. Light melee versus light melee. Light melee versus light range doesn't Mistwalker. That's not a bad matchup. That's actually pretty decent. And then we have heavy ranged, who is not light melee specialist. So technically speaking, light melee would, as in Cerberus, would do alright here. But I mean alright by melee standards, so that would still be noticeable losses there. Or we can again go with the light range, and let's see. This one will be okay-ish, and this one would be okay-ish. None of them are specialists. So let's go with the forest warden again. Yep, again, we still, yeah, that's about 20% total. But again, considering we are in, what was that? Province 18. In 5-star, yeah, I'd take that. That's pretty decent. Alright, okay, that's an excellent matchup. So that's a Banshee, no-brainer. All these units that the mages are good against, no counter unit, not even other mages, and mostly a heavy range that Banshees are very well equipped for. Yeah, that was a good one. Okay. And 20. I think that's going to be the same thing. Yep, so we have 1 mage, we have 3, that is kind of okay for Banshees. We have 3 heavy range that we will be really good against. And then we have 1 counter unit who is not a mage specialist by any means, so Banshees again. Yep, that worked quite alright. Quite decent so far. That may mean that our 4 remaining encounters, that are the heaviest encounter, as in like potential highest losses in the whole tournament, yeah, that might not be pretty. Okay, well, at least this one is not going to be an issue. This is basically a perfect matchup for Banshees. They do really well in this matchup. Remember, as I said, against pure heavy range, they have 5 times damage reduction on top of all our regular boosts and basically double the damage. Yeah, as you can see, that worked really well. Okay, 3 more. Okay, I think that's another Banshee matchup. So again, 2 heavy range that will do very well, 2 mages that will kind of do okay, and then 1 counter unit who is a melee, a light melee, and not a mage specialist. Yep, Banshee it is again. Yep, that worked really well. 2 more. Okay, and this one. Alright, again, 2 options here. We can go Cerberus here, and we'll do very well against mages. We'll do okay against other dogs. And this heavy ranged is not a light melee specialist, but it's a melee. Alternatively, we can go Forest Wardens, who will do excellent against mages. They would do kind of okay against Hellhounds. This one is not as amazing, because that's a ranged unit, and it's actually a specialist against light range. Yeah, so this one is kind of a toss, I'd say. Well, we're gaining the range by going forest wardings, but the matchup is not as good for them as it is for the Cerberus, but Cerberus doesn't have a range. Let me think. Now, you know that I'll still go range, because we also have extra damage boost for range. And it's range, so there's that. But as you can see, yeah, that's more like 30% loss. Kind of doubt that we would have done better with the dogs. Don't think so. At least comparable. Okay, so we dodged this one mostly. I mean, that was significant loss, but we were running definitely below expectations in the previous encounters. So let's see what our last one is gonna look like. Okay. So this one we can go. Yeah, so basically what we have here is we can go forest wardens against. We have 3 mages that will do well again. And when we have 2 ranged units that are not light range specialists, so that would be fine. Or we can go banshees again, who would do really well against heavy ranged, but will only do okay against 3 other mages. Again, kind of coin flip here. Let me think. Yeah, generally speaking, banshees are not amazing going against other mage units. If I have to choose between banshees and blossom princess, I would go blossom princesses there, but blossom princesses are definitely not as good against heavy range. So, you know what? Yeah, let's see what they have against light range. Okay, so they have light range, they have no defense boost, no health boost, or yeah, I guess damage reduction. They do have slight damage boost against light range, which is annoying because they're ranged, so they're gonna hit us. But that's, yeah, I know that I'm tempted to go forest warding still. Yeah. So what, another about 30%? Oh, you know that, that's fine. Again, considering it's last encounter in 5 stars here, that's acceptable. I'm thinking like if I have to go banshees in the same matchup, I'll probably be looking at something similar, definitely more than 20%, that's for sure. So yeah, could it be more? It could be more than that. So all in all, that's not too bad. But that also means that we are done. Let's just double check. Yep, all 24 provinces went in 5 stars. And the summary for losses, that actually went better, I'd say, than I anticipated, or than average, I guess, for that tournament and these boosts. But I will post a specific breakdown of the losses with every province and some averages and some other information in my post on the website, and the link will be in the description. So if you like this content, so hit that like button, click subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to see more, what you say, what you disagree with, or what you agree with. And we'll continue this series in the next tournament type. And I'll see you then. See ya.